Hello, my loves. Dr. Holly here. I am tuning in with you after the close of daylight savings time, which happened on Saturday, I guess early Sunday morning. I hate daylight savings time. Let's talk about why. Hello, Dr. Holly here. So, my husband Todd will call me a professional sleeper, which is very true. I love my sleep. He actually says the end of daylight savings time, which is Sunday, or was this past Sunday, is my favorite day of the year. And that's also normally true. Unfortunately, now, well, not unfortunately, very much fortunate, but unfortunate in this circumstance, we have two small children and a puppy. The puppy is about 18 months old, so he's still he's getting into that teenagerhood of puppydom. But both sets of living beings do not understand the time change that happens with the end of daylight savings time. So even though Sunday morning we should have been able to sleep in, mama should have gotten an extra hour of sleep, both my 5-year-old and my 18-month-old puppy were up at the crack of dawn, needing to go potty, needing their breakfast, and all these things that apparently grown-ups are supposed to do for them. And this was not a pleasant experience for me. So why is that? Why can't our little ones and our animal friends adjust to this man-made thing called daylight savings time? Because we shouldn't be doing it. It's not a good thing. It's not healthy for us. It's not honoring our circadian rhythm. Did you know in the past year that the Academy of Sleep Medicine actually came out against daylight savings time? They are in favor of getting rid of it and just going to standard time. Just stop doing this to our bodies. This is something we made back in the day when we were all farming and we needed more hours to do the farmlands, and maybe there's more to it, but that's my understanding. And maybe in the time there was a need for it, but now in our industrialized world, it's really not helpful. All it does is confuse our internal clocks, confuse our circadian rhythms, and cause a lot of mayhem and mischief. It really has been found to actually do things like increase strokes and heart issues, increase anxiety, increase sleep disorders, increase the stress that leads to increased inflammation. So my friends who have pain disorders might be noticing more pain this week. Those who have more circadian reliant mood disorders, such as bipolar, might be a little nervous about how they're doing this week. Same with folks with some thought disorders or cognitive issues. All of these things are affected by our sleep. So this week, actually, in Dr. Holly's Lanyap, I talked about sleep because the importance of the circadian rhythm just can't be stressed enough. And really, when we don't get enough sleep, we set ourselves up for all kinds of issues. And even just that hour change can contribute to that type of stress. So this is something to keep in mind. It's a reason I'm not a fan of daylight savings time and why I'm a big fan of places that don't honor it, although it makes it confusing for when you're trying to call people. But I get it. I think it's a good idea for us all to examine this on a national level to really help us in a more integrative way focus on our health and return to a place of wellness where our sleep is more easily regulated. Not having that regulated sleep, again, can increase that stress response. That leads to more inflammation. That leads to things like that fight or flight response, that sympathetic response when we're not getting enough sleep. That in turn can lead to things like more irritability, more anxiety, more difficulties with focus, whether that be due to your traumatic brain injury or your attention deficit or just getting older. All of those things can worsen when we don't get enough sleep. It can also lead to that general inflammatory state, which leads to an increased incidence of things like diabetes, things like high blood pressure, things like heart disease. And then acutely, as those in the sleep world have noticed, acute increases in stroke and heart attacks when we have these sudden changes in sleep patterns that are mandated from man, not from our environment. Really, the more we can get towards what our natural circadian rhythm is, the better for us. So that's why when you're having difficulties with sleep, one of the first things we're going to ask you to do is look at your regimen. Look at what your behaviors are around going to bed. Are you turning the lights down? Are you making the lights in a warmer element so that they're more like dusk? Are you turning off the TV? Are you removing all the electronics from your bedroom? Are you maybe not watching things that are stimulating, like not watching that late night news show if it's going to be triggering for you? I often tell my PTSD folks, like, skip that late night news. Watch my friends over on Fox 8 who have their 9 o'clock news and do some fun things. Watch the earlier news if you want to watch the news, or just read it instead if that's something that maybe watching is too triggering for you and keeps you from sleeping well. Do things that help you tell your brain to turn down the volume and get ready to go to sleep. It's like what I do with my kids. It's like what we did when we were younger and our parents were kind of helping us regulate our sleep. Having a type of ritual that's relaxing, whether it be taking a bath, taking a shower, reading a calming book, maybe doing some journaling or some meditation, some yoga nidra, that sleep yoga meditation. All of these things are ways that we can kind of tune down the volume and help our sleep regimen get better. While we're trying to regulate our sleep, it's super important to keep a regular wake-up time. Believe it or not, this trying to sleep later because you didn't get enough sleep actually makes it harder for us to regulate our sleep. So really getting up at the same time every day is one of the first steps in getting your sleep more regulated. And then reaching out if these behavioral modifications just aren't quite enough, because there are things like adaptogens, there are things like some of the more sedating supplements that can help with getting your body and brain tuned down so you're able to lay down and rest without having to use some of the heavy duty drugs that we use in traditional medicine that can cause problems with thinking and cognition and increase mortality. So with that, I'm sending you lots of love and caring and lots of calming, soothing, relaxing, sleeping energy. And I wish you so much love, and I'm wishing you very, very well. And I will see you next time. So take care. Click a like, click a follow, click all the things so that you're alerted when I come on live, and so we can keep track of each other. And let me know if I can be of service. You can find me on darawellnessnola.com. Love you guys.